All right, let's talk about a pretty radical new idea in education. What if AI's biggest weakness, its habit of just making things up, is actually its greatest strength in the classroom? Yeah, it's a shift that's way bigger than just learning how to write a better prompt. So check out this paradox. The very thing that makes AI feel kinda dangerous, the fact that it can be confidently wrong, might just be the secret to unlocking what it can really do for learning. But to see how that's possible, we gotta start with the problem itself.
Okay, first up, AI's dangerous flaw. Let's really get into the high-stakes problem that standard AI can create. I mean, think about a field like social work, where getting the facts wrong can literally change someone's life. This isn't just a simple mistake. It's a huge ethical minefield.
The core of the issue is something called hallucination. And no, the AI isn't seeing things. It's just really, really good at predicting the next most likely word in a sentence. It's not trying to tell the truth. It's trying to sound right. And that, right there, is a massive risk.
I mean, read this. It sounds completely official, totally plausible, right? Here's the catch. The Fictional Veteran Support Act is, well, fictional. It doesn't exist. It's a hallucination. Just imagine giving a vulnerable person that kind of false hope. It's devastating.
So, here's a great way to think about it. A standard AI is like this super overeager intern. They've read every single book in the library, they know everything, but now you've locked them in an empty room with no books. When you ask a question, they desperately want to help, so they just start inventing details that sound like they could be true. They're just guessing. So, yikes, right? How in the world do we fix this? Well, the answer isn't just build a smarter AI. It's about changing our entire mindset, shifting away from a purely technical approach to one that's focused on, actual human. And this is the shift we're talking about. On one hand, you have technical excellence, which is all about the output. It's asking, how do I write the perfect prompt to get the machine to do what I want? It treats you like an operator. But design thinking flips the script. It focuses on the outcome. It asks, how might we solve this very human problem? It sees you as the architect, and the AI is just one of your tools. This whole design thinking process, it doesn't even start with technology. Step one is empathize. You have to understand the person you're trying to help. Then you define the problem, you build a quick prototype, and you test it out. See what happens? The human, with all their judgment and critical thinking, is put right back in the driver's seat. Okay, so if we're going to think like designers, we need the right tools. We need a different kind of tech, something a lot more controlled and, frankly, reliable. And that brings us to what we're calling the grounded AI. Meet the hero of our story, a technology called Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Let's just call it RAG. RAG is basically the antidote to AI hallucinations. Instead of letting the AI pull answers out of its own vast, messy memory, RAG forces it to only use specific, trusted documents that you give it. Remember our overeager intern guessing in that locked room? Well, a RAG system is like a super diligent student taking an open book exam. It is only allowed to use the approved textbooks and notes you put on its desk, nothing else. And that constraint, that's its superpower. The risk of it just making stuff up plummets. So this is where it gets really fun. How does this grounded AI actually work in the real world? Well, it stops being just an answer machine and becomes a true co-pilot for teachers and students. It's a creative partner. We're already seeing a whole new wave of tools built on this idea. You've got Google's NotebookLM, which is amazing at synthesizing your own documents with a super low risk of hallucination. Then there's xAI's Grok, which is great for simulations, and Perplexity for group research. The key thing is each one of these tools turns a student from someone who just consumes information into someone who actively designs solutions. The possibilities here are just incredible. A professor could upload a bunch of dense, boring academic papers, give a simple prompt, and have the AI generate a short, engaging explainer video complete with narration. Suddenly, anyone can be a content creator. It's amazing. This is leading us to an era of what you could call vibe coding. Students can actually start building real-world digital tools, like, say, an app to help people find local food banks, not by writing a single line of code, but just by describing the purpose, the feel, the vibe of what they want to create. It's wild. So let's pull all this together. When you combine this new design mindset with grounded AI technology, what does it really mean for the future of learning? Well, the biggest change isn't about the tech. It's about a fundamental shift in our roles.
The whole point is to move the teacher's role from being the gatekeeper of knowledge, the person with all the answers, to being the guide on the side. When you have a reliable AI that can handle delivering the core information, the teacher is freed up to do what humans do best, to mentor, to inspire, to push for critical thinking and empathy. In this approach, it hits all three of the big drivers of human motivation. It gives students autonomy. They get to direct their own learning. It builds their competence, because an AI tutor makes it safer to try and fail. And it boosts relatedness by freeing up more time in the classroom for real human connection. That is the perfect recipe for those aha moments we all live for. So here's the bottom line. By offloading the heavy lifting of information synthesis to a reliable AI copilot, we're not making learning easier, we're making it deeper. We're freeing up precious brain space for the skills that will actually matter in the future: critical thinking, creativity, and empathy. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. When AI can handle the information, what new heights can human connection and understanding truly reach?